You never know. Like, they'll sneak in a punch. You're like, this motherfucker is strong, but he can't lift a plate. But in this case, with Art and Key, like, and against that Ravens offensive line, I don't know. I just don't know. But what I will say is their receivers are old and slow, except John Brown. Crabtree's old. Willie Snead is just a slot receiver.
The Raiders receivers aren't much faster.
They really are. This is going to be a shitty game for receivers. But they're gonna run the ball and get pounded.
I'm so tired of watching Raider games.
But
even the one they won was boring.
That's why I don't watch them. But the Ravens have Tony Jefferson and Eric Weddle, so Derek Carr is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's probably going to get picked off by Weddle and get sacked. Oh, did I mention the Ravens have like the top pass rushing defense in the league? They have like 7 pass rushers, like 7 guys.
The crazy thing is they fell from like playoff darling to like middle of the pack so fast, like literally in 4 weeks.
But their offense is kind of broken, and I think they know that. But their defense is still intact.
I think they lost like 4 straight except for last week. Yeah, and they won.
But they're 5-5 now, so it's like, and that game eliminated the Bengals from making the playoffs.
That was fast.
We're gonna come back and look at this game like, oh, that's where the Bengals lost it all.
You mean that's when Marvin Lewis lost it all?
Yeah.
Who gets fired first, Marvin Lewis or Jason Garrett? Let's talk about it.
First, Marvin Lewis, Jason Garrett, or Clay Helton?
Or Ron Rivera?
Ron Rivera is actually doing good. Their kicker is just trash.
Bro, before that Super Bowl, we were talking about firing Ron Rivera for like 3 seasons.
Past the Super Bowl, and now they have Norv Turner. That offense is looking good. Defense needs some work here.
I'm just saying in general.
He's not
of those 4 options.
He's off the hot seat. Cam Newton's playing better than he's ever played in his life, passing the ball.
So you're eliminating him from the option.
He's not. You can't fire him. No. He got you Norv Turner. You fixed the offense.
Shout out to that Chargers connection.
And he's maintaining Thomas Davis, who may end up playing another year. Come on now. You can't. No.
They might not make the playoffs. They're in the mix.
They'll make a wild card. They're 6-4. Or no. Were they 4-6? Or they 6? Because I think the Lions had a better record than them.
They might be 5-5.
I think they're 5-6, possibly. I thought they had a winning record. Because the other Lions were 6-4. I still don't know how that shit happened. But
they're 6-4.
Okay, so what the Lions?
And they lost to the Lions. The Lions are 4-6.
No, they beat the Lions. 20-19.
No, they lost to the Lions 20-19.
Oh shit! I thought they won.
No, they lost.
Damn, yeah, because the kicker missed a bunch of kicks.
That's ass. All right, man. So let's get to the college football stuff since I know you have a lot.
Alrighty then. So UCF finally got in the top 10 for college football. They're ranked 19th. Now, this is important because Michigan and Ohio State play this weekend. Michigan is ranked 5th? I think
they have a shot to get in.
They have to beat Ohio State. Maryland almost beat Ohio State, and honestly, they should have. That QB threw a terrible pass to a wide open receiver on a 2-point conversion that would have beat Ohio State. Shout out to Maryland. They've had a rough year, but they fought hard. Maryland, I remember when they first got to the Big Ten, they were getting their ass handed to them. But they've always had athletes, and they just needed the right coach and leadership. I feel like once they get that, Maryland will be nice. They'll be nice once again. But when it comes to UCF, the last team they beat had a winning record. They're going to play USF, South Florida, who has a winning record. And they had a hell of a game last year between Quentin Flowers.
Are they going to get into the show, or are they going to get snuffed again?
I think the highest they can get is like 7th, bro, I'm being honest. LSU's in
And you still wouldn't put them in at 7, undefeated 2 years in a row?
I think they should be put in, but they're not going to be put in. I think they're better than Notre Dame, but they're not going to be put in.
See, that's the ironic thing about this whole situation.
Notre Dame gets away with playing some easy-ass cupcakes.
That's the ironic thing about this whole situation, right? The playoffs was made for this exact scenario to give a lesser team a chance to play in.
It's not happening. It's like it's worse than the Boise.
It's worse than that. Yeah,
the Boise State TCU affair when they said, "Oh, well, these two teams are really great. We'll just have them play each other." What the fuck? No. How about you have Boise play somebody and TCU play somebody?
Yeah, it's worse than that because now they're even at a lesser stage.
They're gonna have to extend it to at least 6 teams or 7 teams. And
I don't know why you wouldn't just do a full 8.
Because, one, those players aren't getting paid.
They'll be able to put 2 SEC teams. They'll be able to put.
No, they want 3
which
SEC
they
teams.
want.
I've been wanting to talk about that shit, bro. Kentucky has like 4 losses. No, Mississippi State has 4 losses and they're still ranked. Explain that to me, dog. I'm not stupid and I know math, so please explain that to me. Please explain that to me. The SEC has more power in this playoff shit than they did when the BCS was around.
Yeah,
and that's
for
disgusting.
Sure.
Like, what naked pictures do you have of somebody in an Asian bathhouse somewhere? Shout out to Zach Smith. Man, that was a great read last week. It didn't get its due, but it was a great read, a great interpretation. But anyway,
it would have been great if you did it in 5 minutes instead of 20.
No. It needed to be.
It would have been
bro.
great.
He tweeted for like 3 hours. I condensed a lot.
Yeah, and people could have went and read the tweets.
And my interpretation was much funnier.
I guess
I have background information you don't have. But anyway, when it comes to that, man, UCF's just not getting in, even if they win out their entire conference, and it sucks. But South Florida's giving away free tickets to their game against UCF. It was a hell of a game last year. They literally won in like the final seconds because Mike Hughes had a game-winning kick return for a touchdown. I think it's not going to be as close because Blake Barnett is just inconsistent. But I don't count USF out because they have like a 250-pound slot receiver who should be a running back, and I don't know how the hell he mosses people and gets open, but he does. Go look up UCF South Florida, receiver number 8. Like, bro, it's amazing. It's a marvel to watch that man work. I'm rooting for him.
Other story I want to talk about, or you want to talk about, Ed Oliver. I know that got a lot of hype this week.
Oh yeah,
he was on the sideline going off on his coach. Visibly had to be left
bitch ass
off.
Major Applewhite
Had to be left off. Which, by the way,
held back.
Oliver looks like that neck dude, like not even flexy.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He looks like the neck dude when he's
neck is huge
before he
too.
goes like Super Saiyan. Yeah, that's good. He was a 5-star recruit and like the #1 player in the nation out of high school, and chose to go to bum ass Houston. That wasn't a factor nationally until he got there and they got better. Miss me with that whole Case Keenum. Nope.
All right, so get to it.
Pretty much. Major Applewhite has this rule that players can't wear the certain jackets that Oliver was wearing. Oliver hurt his knee like 4 weeks ago and was trying to come back and was putting his health at risk. But he's standing on the sideline, and because he's wearing that jacket, instead of – and this is before halftime. They were up by like I think 14 points. They were up by a lot in the game they were playing. I think it was Louisiana Tech. And Applewhite goes up to him and just takes the jacket off of him, says you can't wear that. And like while the equipment manager's talking to him, and then as soon as they go to halftime, Oliver's like cussing him out. And I can probably tell you what he's saying. You want me to tell you what he was saying?
So the whole point you're missing on it.
He's being held back.
The whole point you're missing on it.
No, I'm not done yet. I get that, but pretty much it was a team rule. You can't wear that jacket because you're not playing.
Yeah.
And it had Houston Cougars on the back. But my thing
it wasn't even that though. It was one
jacket.
Bro,
number one, how much money has he brought that
number
team?
One, you know how football coaches are with dumbass rules like that. I know
coaches play favorites.
And you also know how coaches are about players on the sideline and players who aren't playing on the sideline.
He's the best player on your team.
Not just that, but
the best player to come through that school.
It was the specific jacket that players wear when they come off the field. Because it's the bigger jackets that are meant to go over the shoulder pads that he was wearing.
And he handled it wrong.
Yeah. They both did.
First off, don't put your hands on
They both did. Which Oliver shouldn't
No,
have been,
a young
been
kid
going
like
off
that,
like that,
I would
too.
expect him to have that reaction if I was at Oliver. I would expect that. I'm like, dog.
Yeah.
First off, I'm the reason you probably got
this
job.
But he's not a kid.
I'm the bet.
He's a number one. He's a number one.
He's like 22 years old.
He's a number one pick.
He's a fucking kid, bro.
He's a number one pick.
He's 22.
He's a number one
pick.
He's
4 years younger than
man.
us.
He's about to be a millionaire.
You're not a grown ass man.
He's not a kid.
You're not a grown ass man at 22
years old. He's not a kid.
He's a young man.
He's not a kid.
Okay, fine. He's a young man.
He's not a kid.
But he's not fine. He's a young man.
Yeah, but
he's a college kid in college.
He's a college kid in college who's going to be a millionaire.
Who's made Houston.
Who's a role model for kids.
Houston. Man, miss me with that role model shit.
It's true.
Did you not just hear me read all that shit that Zach Smith was saying last week? Those same coaches are role models. The nasty shit that they do, but you're going to put it all on the players. The players are the role models. Dog, they don't even get paid for their services, and you just said we should have an 18 playoff. And they're not getting paid. They're not saying any money off that.
I'd rather have.
Why do you think Christian McCaffrey and Fournette didn't play their bowl games?
I'd rather.
Exact reason.
I'd rather have an extra playoff game than a conference title game. So
okay, first we're gonna put a pin in that because put a pin in that because I'm gonna get to.
We're probably not because we don't have a lot of time.
Because I'm gonna get to the rankings in a second. But to cap out this entire Houston situation, let's be honest. Are they going to be better or worse when Ed Oliver leaves?
They're going to be worse, obviously.
Okay, then. So if you took them off you take him off the team. He could have went to LSU. First off, he could have went to LSU. I read they did a huge proposal.
Okay, I don't really get what your point is. I really don't get what your point is. Other than that,
when you're like the greatest player,
he should be entitled to a fucking jacket because
no. I'm gonna say
he, like everyone else, isn't getting paid.
Let me finish.
And yeah,
no, the way Herm Edwards said it. And the way he did Jason Dunn, the veteran tight end on Hard Knocks, when he had to get a rookie room when he was like a veteran and he got pissed at Herm Edwards, I treat everybody fairly. I don't treat everybody the same. You treat everybody fairly, but you don't treat a guy like that who, if he didn't come to your school, you wouldn't have had you wouldn't have been in a big BCS playoff game. You wouldn't have had a big bowl game that you were in where you beat Florida State. You literally wouldn't be on the map because Ed Oliver would have never went to your school and he was an in-state prospect. You don't treat him like that. And he's injured trying to come back and play when he could just say, fuck it, and sit out the rest of the year like a couple of cats are doing around college. They're like, you know what, I'm going to just, like Joey Bosa's brother did. I'm going to not play.
So how
you don't treat him like that.
So how is him
and it was almost halftime. You tell him to take it off in the locker room.
Yeah, that's for sure. I agree with that.
As a grown man, you handled that wrong.
I agree with that, for sure.
Who's more wrong? With that. The young kid or the grown-ass man?
I for sure agree with that.
The grown-ass man was wrong, so I'm checking
But from what I heard, somebody had already told him to take it off, and he didn't take it off. That's why the coach
fucking cold. And last time I checked, I've been injured before.
But my whole point is this.
Being cold and having injured body parts doesn't feel good.
You can argue the whole thing that you are whatever.
In general.
The point is, how does this whole argument make their team better? It doesn't. It doesn't.
And if they ever
how does it help his draft stock? It doesn't.
It does nothing for his draft stock.
Exactly. So why go through all that?
Why put the best player in your team through that? The best player arguably in that school's history. Why do that to him? Why embarrass him on national television by telling him to by taking it off for him halfway? Like, who the fuck are you? I would have punched Major Applewhite in his fucking face.
Yeah.
Said you were a bum ass Texas QB that somehow, just because you're white and you're an offensive coordinator, you somehow made it to head coach. You just somehow made it there with Tom Herman's players.
And that's how you go in the second round, folks.
Hey, shit. Sometimes you got to tank to go to a better situation. Am I right? Sometimes you got to tank to go to a better situation. How many guys had trouble? I'm just saying, Darius Guice dropped and went to the Redskins, and that was a pretty good deal before he tore his ACL. I'm just saying, sometimes it's good to hurt your draft stock.
Game?
He played in the preseason and got hurt. No, he played like in the third preseason game and got hurt. He almost made it to regular season. But my bottom line is, like, with certain cats, everybody was saying, "Oh, his draft stock is going to stop. It's going to drop."
No, hell no. It's not going to hurt his draft stock.
Remember when they said that about Kaepernick and Fournette? Oh, their draft stock is going to drop because they're missing their bowl games.
Until they run the 40.
Until they went to the combine and they're like, "Oh shit, never mind." That's what I'm saying. The people at those schools, they use these kids like pawns, and it's nasty.
I mean, it depends because it hurt Royce Freeman's stock.
Not really. He's been at college for 4 years.
He went in the fourth round.
No, they shitted him because Van Der Esch had a great bowl game and Boise State dominated Oregon. They were like, "Why did you even show up if I wanted to be the front row teammates?" Well, you should have been playing, which I agree. If I'm saying I'm going to prepare for the NFL, sorry guys, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not going to be at your bowl game. I'm going to go prep and not travel. But he wanted to be a team guy, and just know that Royce Freeman was the nicest guy in prison that day. And we know what happens to the nicest guy in prison.
But this is kind of like the same thing that you're talking about. it's like, okay,
Oliver's hurt and still trying to play though.
Exactly. So
but he said he was. He said
if you're trying to be a team guy, then why not just follow the rules?
Okay, let me ask you something. Did